Good evening, everybody. And thank you for showing up. Pleased to announce that, some of you that know, from the past, we had a series called Barbershop Talks. The Social Justice Center was started out from a conversation in the barbershop, two conversations in the barbershop between some gentlemen that felt strongly about their community and raising their community up. They took the idea that they got from those conversations, and they founded the Social Justice Center. It was formerly the Staley B. Keefe Social Justice Center, now it's known as SBK Social Justice Center. We ran a group every Thursday that was called Barbershop Talks. It was community conversations, and we got a lot of our ideas and fire from those conversations, and then we went out and we tried to tackle those issues. I think it wouldn't be right for 2 or 3 individuals to sit up in a room and think that we had all the answers for the community and what we think the community needs. That's not a social justice center. Social justice center is community involved. So getting all the voices from the community and taking those ideas. So that was the premise behind Barbershop Talks. We went away from it for a few years because we were focused on doing a lot other things that we thought was pressing, which was a mistake. I think that we should have had Barbershop Talks and communication, community conversations the whole while. So I'm pleased to announce that we're doing Barbershop Talks again. Just a little backstory, just going to forums in the last month and a half and having so-called experts on panels and things like that. And I think we got away from listening to our community, especially the elders in our community. Those that's been here, those that toiled in this community and made a name for this community, and brought a lot of people with them in their successes in this community. And who wouldn't want to tap into that experience and that, that passion, to lead us going forward. So I'm pleased to announce this young woman right here. She's also my cousin, but this is,
thank you.
Respected community member, beloved community member, one of our elders, one of ours, not to say that she's not yours, but I'm claiming, she's one of ours. She worked, she lived here for over 60 years. She's worked here, ever since she got an opportunity to work, when she was young. She's all the while being a devoted mother, and she has a daughter that she's very proud of, and very much so. And I'm glad that she's here right now, that she can share her story about her experiences in Hudson, share them with us, and then we can open it up to a community conversation afterwards. So,
yeah. Hello, everybody. This is new for me. But first off, I got to change from barbershop. I was a beautician, so to the beauty shop. Okay? First off, all right? My name is Adele Armour, and I've been, like he said, I've been here all my life. I am 68. I went to school here. I graduated an honor student. From here, I went to Philadelphia, and I did 10 years there, in the beauty shops there, and then I came back here. I have my daughter. She's now 40 and living in Texas. I have 2 grandchildren, a son-in-law, and a dog. And I'm very proud of all of it. But my main concern is our young people have nothing to do. Not a thing. When I was a child, we had different parks and recreations that we used to do every summer. We even had movies on the street. On a Wednesday night, we would sit down in the middle of the street. It was blocked off, and we watched the movie. But now, there's nothing. In the summer, the boys' club is closed. So, yes, you don't know? No. Yeah, the boys' club is closed in the summer. And we only have one park, and that's the Oakdale. Which serves what? Nothing for our young people to do but walk around. If they want to swim, they can swim. But no, we had 7 different parks and recreations that we did when I was a child. And at the end of the summer, we had a feast that you wouldn't believe. It was better than the firemen's ball, whatever they do over here. Am I lying? Yeah. Much better. I mean, the entire community was involved. Even down to the festivals, the black festivals now, all right, we don't even have that anymore. And it's multicultural. It's not the black festival. It's multicultural. But all the multiculturals got their own day. Okay? They got their own day. As a black community person, we don't. We have to share it. What happened to us? There's a lot of undercurrent racism in this community and in Columbia County. And I've witnessed it all. So if anybody says, no, that's a lie, it's here. Now we get the New Yorkers. If you're a New Yorker from New York, I'm sorry. But they have taken over our community, our stores. I mean, can any of you afford anything in these stores? CVS is the oldest store that we got left here. Can you afford to go into any of these stores? How many are into antiques? We are antique. Is there a price tag on us? Can you afford it? What can we do about opening up businesses? There used to be grocery stores here. We got to go all the way to Greenport just to buy groceries. And then the corner stores, they buy out there and they bring it here and they jack up the price. So they can make a profit, whereas we lose again. And I see the product, I said, wait a minute, I just saw it at Aldi's and you just bought it? And now you're not adding another $1 to it? Is that fair? But we're saying, okay, and we're smiling and we're all going in the store and buying it. It needs to stop. I have another problem. Being an American, I don't care what race I am, just an American. I would love to be able to open a store, open a restaurant, or a gas station, but I'm American. But if I wasn't, I could do all these things. Just stop for a minute. Just look around. Every corner store is not an American. Every gas station is not an American. You're looking at me like, really? Think about that for a minute. Right here. First Street, Second Street, you name it. None of them are American. What happened to us? How did we allow this to go so far that we have no say? Something's wrong. And it's not the government, it's us. We need to say, no, no more. Stop this. What happened to Columbia County? You're looking at me like, ooh. No, nobody has any feedback for this? What?
That's true. I'm 22 now. I'm 43, and I grew up with Miss Adele and her daughter. And it's sad to say that every corner, like IGA was a corner store since I was little, on 3rd and Columbia. That's not even owned by anybody from this community. It used to be a time where I was growing up, we believe in it takes a village to raise a child.
I still believe
You
that.
knew who was on each corner, or if not, it was still a community where everybody looked out for one another, but everybody knew everybody. Now, it's changed. You go to every corner store, it's no Americans own the corner stores.
Or gas station.
Or the gas stations. And though I'm glad to see everybody be prosperous, but what about this community? Just in general, what about, and as she stated, about the children. I have 6 children. My youngest is 16 and 9. And there's nothing for my daughter to do or my son to do. They come here, I promise. If it wasn't for Promise, my children have nothing to do. Joni has been a very, Miss Hunt, Joni Hunt, has been a great impact on my daughter. Joni has been there for my daughter because of a lot of situations. I'm not ashamed. I did 5 years and 3 months of my life in state prison. You know, and Joni has been that pillar in the community as far as my daughter is concerned. And it's sad that I come home even during incarceration and you have to worry about your children even if you're here because there's nothing for them to do. Mishap. That's how they end up with criminal records, family court, you know what I mean? So we need to find something in this community for our children to do. And we need to find something in this community as far as keeping the money right here. What can we do as far as corner stores and things of that nature for us, for Columbia County? Because that is, as Ms. Adele said, that's no more. That is no more. We have to go away to Greenport if we want to go food shopping. We used to have a Sam's right here. We used to be able to go
I
to.
grew up with 5 markets in this, and right here in Hudson.
Yes.
Now we have absolutely none. And 1 drugstore where we had
Yes.
One in every block.
one in every block.
Yes.
Drugstore, a church, and a bar.
Yes.
It's true. It's true. Now we have, as Hudsonians, nothing. There's nothing in this town that says Hudson. Everything else, but not Hudson. I look at this building over here. That used to be Don's. That was a family owned, Don Firmino?
Firmino.
Yeah.
Yes.
They had the best ice cream, cheeseburger subs, sub sandwiches, you name it,
Cheesesteak.
they had
A
it.
split here.
They died, moved away, and once again. I personally, I cannot afford to eat anything in Hudson. It's too expensive. I can't pay $6 for a cup of coffee. For what? I can buy a whole tin for that.
All right.
Okay, but $6 and we're just, oh, hi, how are you? And we're going in for it. No, stop it. If we was to say no, what would they do?
Tourists. You're gonna stay open anyway, there's tourists.
The tourist is them. I'm talking about Hudson. If Hudson stopped catering to this, you're going to see them say, wait, we're not going anywhere with these folks. But we're smiling and being, there's nothing wrong with smiling and being friendly. Just don't go in your pocket. Keep your pocket closed and see how far it goes. They'll have to close. There's no money coming from us. They're here on the weekend. What about the other 5 days of the week? If we shut down the other 5 days of the week and only got the weekend, you think they're going to be bothered? Antiques? Come on now. There's no way in the world people's buying antiques like that. Every day? No. Come on now. There's something else going on inside those antique stores, and it's not antiques. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. Okay? Can't be. Did you buy? Yes.
Oh, I just wanted to say, I mean, part of what is happening is that a lot of businesses they might not be able to support themselves on like street traffic that they get actually from residents of Hudson, but there are people coming on the weekends with such vast amounts of wealth, essentially, that they're supporting those businesses.
And we're being kicked to the curb.
Yeah, that's totally what's happening.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
tired of being kicked.
Yeah. So yeah, I grew up in a neighborhood in Manhattan that also the same basic shift occurred in my lifetime. Like it was a pretty working class, middle class residential neighborhood, and then became like extremely wealthy, basically. And I watched it happening, and it's hard for me to feel at home there. And I guess I mean, it's this thing where, communities change, right? So when we talk about like Hudson, it's like what is the community? Like it can't just stay one thing, but so the question is how to make it not feel so exclusive and so out of control, unthinking.
I think one of the things we need to do, one of the things I think, because the business is not going to go anywhere, for the most part, because they don't need the local money, they don't need the local dollar. However, being community members and being steadfast that we can first find a way to get them, to support the community, start investing in the community. Our youth in the community. We just had a basketball team 2 years in a row that went up to went far and things like that, where we did, where it would have been great to see the local businesses, support that and become a part of the community, so it doesn't look like it's Warren Street and then the rest of the community.
But it is.
It definitely is. But what can we do to bring that, to say, all right, we know you're here, you know what I mean, but at the same time, we're not gonna stand for you to just be here and continue to make this money, you know what I mean, you have to become a part of the community also, you know, and it'd be interesting to find out how we can do that, you know, and at the same time, you know, we do have power, we do have, you know, what I can ask you guys to do is use your power, you know what I mean, use your power as white community members.
How do
You know,
we stop the rents going
Right.
crazy? We can't afford it.
I moved here with one baby in the belly and one baby on my hand in 1995, and half of Warren Street was boarded up,
Yeah.
and everything was failing. And what brought back the life, unfortunately, was the whole trade for the weekenders and so forth. But what came just before that shut everything down? It was like a ghost town here.
Well, see,
When we first moved here, there was no commerce or anything.
most of the stores were family operated, and as the elders in the family died, the children didn't want to do that. They wanted to do something else. You know how things. Yeah. So that's how everything went down here.
I see.
Because even my daughter, she's out. She moved to Texas. She graduated and left. And now I understand.
No, but it's sad because, it is sad that it didn't pass on because they were literally empty. You know what I'm saying? And something had to fill the void.
But was Warren Street the only commercial corridor when
Yes.
you were young?
Yes, basically, yes.
There
From
wasn't
Front
stores
Street-
spread around?
From Front Street all the way up. As far as Houston Hospital.
The other
Was there
places
bars
are
on other
factories.
streets too, like on
Bought
Union
every
Hospital?
corner.
But only on Warren Street or on?
No, all over the city. All over the city. And,
But the 5 grocery stores, were they all on Warren? They weren't
No.
split
No.
up?
no, they were spread out. There was Union Street, 7th Street Park, 3rd Street, 4th Street, and that's it.
We had a little Delorama out by Oakdale, Washington.
Oh, yeah,
Huh.
Yeah.
yeah,
And Newberry's with the soda fountain counter and the
Yeah.
lunch counter that was.
yes.
But
Those were the
there's
days.
a structural problem here. It's like everything is on Warren Street. There needs to be more commercial businesses on the other streets where the rents would be lower.
See, that's
Uh,
yeah.
You know, and there's
Yeah.
nobody in this room who's a landlord, except
Nobody?
me, I think.
So where do you want? Where's yours?
I own a property on Green Street, you know, but that's like outside of the gentrified.
No, Green Street
Area.
is good.
You're not even allowed to put a sign on Warren directing any traffic toward other businesses.
You're not?
So it's the landlords are the
Yeah,
problem.
I just, hearing about, people who are starting businesses here in Hudson, what about creating pathways for people to access, information on starting businesses or helping them, teaching them how to do it, accessing the grants that are available,
But see, that's
for
the
startups.
problem. The grants are not available to us. We're Americans.
That's not true.
That's not quite
That's
true.
absolutely not true.
That's not quite true. It's not quite true. They have a different access than what we have.
Okay.
But Columbia Hudson Partnership, they had a program for new business owners. They took you through the whole classes. I know because I worked there, so I know it existed.
And
Just creating those supports for people
You know
that
what?
do
You
want to start
don't
businesses
realize
here in
how
Hudson.
many people they would go out trying to get people to come in to try to make businesses, and they wouldn't be bothered.
What happened to it?
I don't know. I left Columbia. I went back to the States, so I don't know what happened to Columbia Hudson Partnership. They used to be at 444 Warren Street. I think they do exist. I just don't know
Yeah,
where.
they still exist. I don't think that's the issue. I think there's a couple of things. First and foremost, I'm black, and those, regardless of how we put it, those brothers and sisters at the corner stores, at the end of the day, in the fight that we're fighting, they're sand niggas and we're land niggas as society look at us. So I'm not them as my brothers and sisters. And I'm going to stand in solidarity with them as they move forward. Period. Point blank. So I stand with them. But in terms of like even the first time homebuyer course or Columbia Hudson Partnership, the markets have increased so much. The program doesn't work in a place like in the city of Hudson, but it might work in a Greenport or certain areas of Philmont or some things like that. It's not sustainable here because the money that they give you you know, that we got in 2001 or 2000 or what have you to get a home. It was still, you could get a home. You could buy up Fifth Street. And, you know, with the first time home buyer course, where you can't anymore. You can't, you know, $25,000 and then the match is not what it's going to get you. What's $50,000 going to get you? But in terms of where I'm at, and as we have so many new people in the community, is what was here. So there has to be some context given to what were the black businesses here, what were going on, because these folks don't know. You know, the story any place I go when they talk about this resurgence is like everything was boarded up, and then we came and we saved this place. So one of the things we're trying to do with the barbershop talks is tell the history. So what was here? You know, what was black owned here? What were the black events? What were the things that were going on? You know.
Mr. Beverly had, he was a TV repairman, and he was black. Okay, Mr. Rivas, he had the upholstery place up on 4th and Warren Street. He was black.
I went to the beauty shop with my aunt, which was black.
Okay,
When I went to-
Miss Mosley, she had a beauty
Yes.
shop, who was black. Miss Sally Pass, she had a beauty shop, and they were in all different areas of Hudson.
Everybody is deceased.
So where do people go to beauty shops now? Like where do you?
There's a place right across the street, and it's right up here. And they go there. It's a small place. The restaurant next door was closed now. What was it? A Babbitt? Bobbit? Bobbit, yeah. Y'all know. I didn't go there. Couldn't afford it. Oh yeah.
He had a clothing
Yes.
store right there.
Yes.
Was there a shoe store here?
Yes.
There was.
It was Siegel's and Nationals. And then there was another place, oh, I can't remember the
Floor
name
shine
of it.
shoes.
Floor shop, yeah.
Next to the
It was a chip for the children. And then you could put your feet in and X-ray, yes.
Bakers
Yeah,
had fancy ones.
what?
Bakers.
Yeah, well, that was a whole different ballgame. Baker was more like into the clothes and stuff. And we also had the department building store. It was Marshall's.
Marshall's department. Yeah.
Yes. Newberry's, yeah.
JJ Newberry's, you had,
Town Fair. Westport. Okay, you know about that. The toy store for the children and everything else? Yeah. All gone. All gone. Scoble's was jewelry. All gone.
And Z-Snacks?
Z-Snacks, yeah.
Yes.
That was my grandfather.
Really? The more I look at you, the more I'm like, I know her from somewhere.
So, another question. What role did the churches play in the community as you were growing up?
When I was growing up, being that my grandfather was the pastor of Charlotte Baptist Church, and we was taught, and Tony knows, if you didn't go to church, we couldn't play with you. You couldn't be a part of us. If you didn't go to church, no. No, you was, no.
That was yours.
Huh?
That was definitely yours. That was,
Couldn't.
if you didn't behave yourself, it didn't matter.
I was brought up under strict orders and stuff, so when I graduated from high school, I couldn't wait to leave here. I said, oh no, yes. When I left, I got wild. All the things that I was told no, I did. I wasn't no angel. Oh, by no means. All the no's I loved. Then I came back here and realized that those no's meant something. But now I understand what the no's were.
You know, growing up here in the city of Hudson, you know, I grew up here all my life also. And when I was younger, you know, my grandparents were very active in the church too, in Shiloh Baptist Church. And, you know, going there and getting to know, you know, all the elders, you know, getting to know all of them and how significant a role they played in the whole community. You know, I can just remember, you know, I as poor as we was, you know, we always ate.
We didn't know we was poor.
That's it.
Right.
We didn't know we was poor.
Right. You know, it was, you know, this the teaching structure. You know, that we always, you know, I got taught by a whole community. I didn't just get taught by the school system and inside my household. I got taught by a whole community of elders that, you know, that kept me you know, where I needed to be until I, you know, got free spirit and went out on my own and missed my mark. But, you know, just having that, you know, just having that structure and looking back, and even now being a parent, you know, and struggling, but going back to those old values. Going back to those old values. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what Dell said. We lived in a community where everybody was your parent, even though they wasn't your parent.
Exactly.
Everybody. I lived on 2nd and Columbia Street. As a young person, I was not allowed to go. I was at 213 Columbia Street. I couldn't go any further than the corner on 2nd, and I couldn't go any further than the corner on 3rd. If by any chance, which I did a couple of times, somebody else saw me, and did your mother know what, Brittany know where you at? You better get home. And when I got home, they had already called home. Okay? No, you didn't do it. And that was right up until I was a teenager, almost grown. I had to let one lady know I'm grown now, you know. Okay? So it went there, and there was a reason for that. There was no way. I mean, I'd be out as a teenager, and we go to the bar, because I was old enough. You were 18, you could go then. Go to the bar, and at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, you wasn't home. You see any of the elders from church, what you doing out here? You better get home. I don't care how old you was. But you don't have that now, because if I say something to your child, you're ready to beat me up. Okay? But I'll just take a beating, because if I see your child doing something wrong, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say something.
Well, some of us. I think, like, you look at myself and some guys, you know, a lot of guys that I grew up with, and maybe we don't tell you enough, but it's times, you know, just cutting up in this city, but and didn't have really a care. But when I seen one of you guys walking up the street, you know, made sure that everybody else, like if we were talking loud and the music was playing loud and we were cursing and things like that, we could see you from a distance, and that respect just you're gonna stop, you know, and things like that. But that just it just goes to the values, back to those values.
Because even myself, I notice if I see young people see me coming, they doing what they're not supposed to do. Here come Mr. Dell. You know Mr. Dell don't play. And I'll go through and say, yo, I already seen it. You can't hide nothing from me. Even when I was doing substitute teaching, I didn't have any problems. The student, oh, that class, I said, are you having a problem with that class? Okay, I'll take it. Are you sure? Yeah. I go in. Okay, give them the rules. No problems. How'd you handle them? Easy. They know who I am.
I have two questions. I like. First of all, when you were growing up, was Hudson segregated?
Yes, and it still is.
In what
That's
ways?
why I couldn't go above 3rd Street.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
It still is. I have a problem with that below 3rd. I grew up below 3rd. And everything below 3rd does not get done like it does above 3rd.
True.
I've been trying to get a handicap ramp built down at the park. Yeah, you can go to the steps, but you can't go up.
Right.
So I've been trying to get one since '95. Now, if that park was uptown, it would have been done. But it's downtown, so it's not being done. Then they said, well, we're going to start it. I've heard that now every year since '95. So when does it start? So they renovated the park to appease me. What happened to the ramp, though? Then they put the park there. I said, where's the lights? There's no lights down there. You build it. You don't know there's no lights down there? Well, is it necessary? Most of the children play at night. I said, and the drugs is dealt at night. So, with that park with no lights, where do you think the drugs is going to come from? Oh, we didn't look at it like that. I said, because you don't live down here. And exactly, we didn't ask.
Yeah, so I got the second, but I want to get back to it. The breakdown of areas in Hudson. I know my uncle talks about it sometimes.
Below 3rd Street was, if you were black and you were not black and you were poor, you lived below 3rd Street. Any black people that lived above 3rd Street, and it was only like 3 of them that I can remember, we thought they was high class people.
Except for us.
Yeah, but
no, you didn't count. You didn't count on that. You was one of us.
Yeah, we go to Columbia.
That's a whole different ball game. Knox was on Columbia Street. Not Warren Street, not State Street, not Union, Columbia. So you was still.
There was no blacks on Union, there was was no blacks
On
on
State
Allen.
Street?
I think Miss
Wait.
Williams were the first ones to move over on Allen Street.
Allen,
On
Union?
Allen.
No, all blacks was on Columbia.
There was no blacks on Robinson Street. There was no blacks. There was very few blacks above 3rd Street on any of the streets. So the blacks were like, boop, 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 you're here, and the whites were all around. We're going to keep an eye on you. There you are. You stay right here. And now I know for me, I look up and I see, oh, wow, black folks is moving on Green Street. Wow, that ain't never happened before. Black folks is up on Fairview Avenue. Oh, ooh,
I think I pushed out.
Wait a minute,
Huh?
I
I think I
remember,
pushed out.
but I remember one family that moved, they moved, let's see, middle school, and they lived right there. And because they were black, the neighbors built a fence around so they wouldn't be bothered. Now this was back in the 60s.
Eldridge's?
Yes.
There were only a few black people that worked on Upper Warren Street also. 2 or 3.
Well, most of the
I think.
blacks worked at the training school
Yeah.
or in the
factories.
the cement plants. And
Yeah.
Candy.
Candy
what's the
Lane?
name of that?
Yeah, mushroom
Before that,
factory.
mushroom factory.
Yes. Well, Providence Hall was the mushroom factory in Candyland.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's where I live now. Yeah, it was a mushroom. Yeah, mushroom. Yeah,
It started out with the mushroom, and
Yes.
then when the mushroom factory closed,
And
Candy
Candyland.
went there until they had a big fire, and that was it.
And where was Canada Dry at?
Candy Drive was out there on 66, out there where the root beer place is, out that way.
Cold storage and all that.
He has a question over here.
Yes.
Can you talk about Hudson during the civil rights movement? What was going on here? Did people go to Washington to the big
I couldn't
march?
answer that. I wasn't.
No?
No.
That would have been back in the 60s that you're talking about?
Yeah.
No, I was a
No.
little kid then. so have no idea.
I was a child.
In fact, back then, we didn't realize
That was
that
going on.
Hudson was segregated, that
Until-
Hudson was prejudiced.
I
We
didn't
realize
A lot
that.
of things didn't happen that didn't stimulate my brain cells until I left here and saw the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Because here, I was like this. No, you can't go here, you can't go there, you can't do this, you can't do that.
That's right.
So that's why when I moved to Philadelphia, I was wild because it was a whole brand new world for me. But I also remember we didn't have to lock our doors. And you better not come in the house if you wasn't invited. Okay? You just, now you better lock your door because you might walk in there and somebody's laying in your bed watching your TV. Okay? Okay? And look at you like, what you doing here?
So my second part, my second part of the question is around urban renewal and how that happened and who was displaced and all those types of things.
That I can't answer either because I was living in Philadelphia.
He was gone then.
When I came back here, I remember I came home for a visit. And the train, I'm looking, I'm like, I said, conductor, so I told you I get off in Hudson. He said, oh no, the train is going. And he stops. I'm sitting there, waiting for him to say Hudson, and I'm looking out the window and don't recognize it. He said, didn't he say the one Hudson? I said, yeah, well this is it. I said, what? This is Hudson? They did Front Street. Front Street, some of the places down there didn't have electricity. They didn't have heat. I realized just about 20 years ago there was a place that didn't have running water. And I didn't know that until, anyway, yeah, the people still living here. But I didn't know there wasn't even any running water where they was living. I had no idea until they tore the house down the block. Right down this alley. I had not a clue. Yes.
What was your school experience in Hudson?
Well, being an honor student, I couldn't do nothing else but study. I had a great time.
But in terms of like the black and white thing, I mean, is it segregation? Because in school everybody was integrated, correct?
Yes.
And
But see, in school, we didn't have any of that problem because the students that I went to school with, we all grew up right here.
Yeah.
The biggest problem was walking to school in the rain, the snow, the sleet, the
We had
hail,
no
'cause
bus.
no buses.
Oh, I see.
We had no bus.
Nope.
White kids had buses.
Oh, really?
When was Charles
Yeah.
Williams? When was
Charles Williams.
When did that close?
Oh, wow.
About
See,
25 years ago?
I was in
Where was the
sixth
school?
grade.
School? Okay.
Sixth grade.
Schools.
Sixth
Okay.
grade.
We had,
Charles Williams, Allen
Charles
Street.
Williams was like John L.
Okay.
And that's over on Third.
Darnell, it's by the library, the old library.
Yes, yes. Then
Well,
there
that's
was-
what John Millett was,
There was a social service.
down a block, down one block.
It's on
And-
Robinson.
and over there on Robinson, that's
Yeah.
where Charles Williams was
Yeah,
Oh,
Charles.
we're, near
at.
Robinson.
The old mental health building.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
And
it used to also be,
What's in the name?
Sheriff Department.
sheriff, yes, the sheriff department,
Yes.
yeah, wow, we really gone back. Let's see, what other school, then there was, 4th Street School, which was on 4th Street, 4th and State. Across the street from there was the junior high,
Which is 401 State Street now.
yep,
Oh, right.
that was my junior high school. And across the street, no, further up 6th Street was 6th Street School, 6th and State,
That's the old welfare office.
yep, whereas
You had
now,
Allison over here.
yeah, Allen
Mary's.
School, St. Mary's.
Yeah.
St. Mary's was 3rd, and then there was one more. Well,
Montgomery
middle
C.
school.
Smith.
Middle school was my high school.
Yeah.
But so everything, in a way, was walking distance, it was all within the town of Hudson. It
We
wasn't
had no
out
choice
by-
but to walk.
It was only,
Yeah.
There was no public
it
transportation.
was only walking distance for the blacks.
It wasn't walking distance for the whites, because they had buses.
They had buses.
Buses from where, though?
Anywhere they
From
wanted.
Pulcher Cycle.
No, but the school system had buses.
We did not get buses until the NAACP came in here and protested, and we got buses. I used to walk. I used to walk all the way to the high school, which is Montgomery C. Smith. And when you got there by Underhill, it seemed like that's when the buses would hit that puddle and get water all over us. I'll never forget it.
1964. No, 1965 is when the buses started. It was right before I graduated. I couldn't believe it. 11 years of walking.
So the NAACP had to come in.
The NAACP came in with Reverend Dixon and
Reverend Nixon and them. I
In the
was,
training school.
yes, in the training school. And then next thing I know, we had buses. But you still didn't get a bus unless you went to Montgomery C. Smith, which was the high school. The rest of us, who I wasn't old enough yet, still had to walk.
But then the dress code also was different because you couldn't wear pants and you couldn't wear sneakers. Only time you put on pants was gym sneakers for gym. Other than that, it was dresses.
That's right. Now, when you graduated,
Were you wearing pants yet?
No.
You were still wearing dresses?
Yep.
Because it was my class that came behind and
Yep.
protested. We sat up on the hill
Yep.
until we wouldn't go back to class until they said we could wear pants. And they did say you could wear them. You had to wear them polyester pantsuits.
But the other pieces, yeah, that's true. But the other pieces, back then, ladies didn't wear pants anyway.
nobody.
Back then, pants were just for men. If you saw a lady with a pair of pants on, it was like, oh my goodness, what she got pants on? Ladies don't wear pants.
You could wear your pants up underneath your dresses.
When it was cold, but when you got to the school,
Yeah,
you went in the girls' room and took them pants off.
So was the school the only time that you had any connection with the white community here?
No, because this below there, it was still mixed.
You was still mixed.
It's economic segregation. It was just low.
Well, that hasn't changed. It's still that way.
But all the kids play with each other?
Excuse
Did all the
me?
kids in the neighborhood play with each other?
Oh, yes.
So there wasn't segregation in that way?
No, no. The hidden racism wasn't from the children. It was the parents.
That's right.
And basically the grandparents.
That's right.
Yeah, that's where it was. The children, no. Mm-mm. No, we got along.
And downtown, mostly all down here,
Were blacks and Italians. The old Italians lived here. Lived there because they had Cordato's store. They had down near the Gallows. They had Don Frantino's. They had, and you know they all worked together. There's no way that I could go in Don's. My baby sister used to go in Don's all the time with a nickel and want something for a quarter and be crying and whatnot. I'd be trying to get her out the store. Miss Rose used to have to call my mother because she knew that my mother wouldn't allow that. Miss Rose would call my mother, and my mother would say something over the phone. My sister would take my hand and come on home. But people talked to other people. It wasn't just you assume. Even though they had those stores, the other person used to be out. No,
Miss Fall.
Ruth Hall.
store
Ruth Hall
was in the middle of Columbia Street between First and,
right on First.
I mean, the hill went this way. Her store is right here.
Right there on the corner, Ruth Hall's.
And everybody knew her.
And
And she knew everybody, and,
What kind of store was that?
a grocery store, a little store, in the, like here, corner store like, but it was in the middle of the block. Oh, we loved her.
Ruth Hall was nice.
Yes, she really was. And they, you know, even now that she's gone, even the family, still, they remember. It was so much different. Now, you don't want to know your neighbors. Because you don't want to know what they're into. You know? Basically, you don't. You don't want to know, oh, either they're into drugs or they got a messy house or they this. It's true.
Was there a drug problem in your childhood?
No, we didn't know nothing about drugs then.
There's a drug problem. In Hudson, there was a drug problem in the city of Hudson. Absolutely, there was a drug problem.
No, she said in my
When did it
childhood.
start?
Oh, not in your childhood,
No.
but in the era, absolutely.
So when would you say it started to become a problem for the neighborhood?
As soon as they was introduced.
Yeah.
Like the 70s, 80s?
As soon as it was
Yeah,
introduced.
80s.
Once
When
drugs in the
we
picture,
moved
it's
here
a
on
problem.
95, you could see drugs being traded in front of what is now the Opera House in broad daylight. When I came here in 95. There was drug trade all over the city. It was crazy.
What's happening? They do that on the Capitol in Washington.
Exactly, see, the drug.
No, that's not an isolated.
What to look for, because I was here and I didn't see it. Okay, I'm not saying that it didn't exist, but I didn't see it in broad daylight like that.
It wasn't, if the drugs was here, it wasn't as open as it is now.
Nowhere near.
Not even close. You didn't know anybody was on drugs.
Because it got bad right before they took the payphones. Because they were saying, because I was an alderman then, and they were saying that they were using the payphones for their business. So that's when they started taking the payphones, and I can remember us as alder people saying, so what are you going to do? You know, cell phones weren't popular yet. What are people going to do? And they said, well, if there was an emergency, the police station was that close, and they would still leave some, but they were going to phase them out.
First they had them so they couldn't get incoming calls. You could make calls out, but you couldn't get called off the payphone. They did that first.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that happened, I agree.
I remember that because it wasn't happening.
So I want to take this time because I do want to open it up and hear everyone else speak now. Not that you wasn't speaking, but I want to hear you guys talk about I want to hear what you guys, your experiences in Hudson, whether it was a long experience or short experience, and just like I said, a community conversation. Just hear what you got to say and what you're feeling and share that with the group. But I want to first thank I'm gonna call Miss Adele.
Oh, I hope I gave you what you wanted. This is brand new. I don't have no problem talking. Okay, I have no problem talking. Nobody asked you. No problem talking, so I hope that I enlightened or gave you something to go on. You know.
And I want to thank Miss Cross also for sharing. Now, anybody want to share anything, what's in your heart, you want to speak about it, this is the time to speak about it, this is the place, this is what this is designed for, for us to have a voice, and speak, so.
Come on, ladies, we
Well,
turn you in the bar.
I mean, I'm 60, so I'm a little bit younger than you, but not much. And I grew up in a town like the size of Hudson in Massachusetts, outside Boston, and it was the same way.
Okay.
And it's not like that anymore. You know what I mean? Like everything moved out to the suburbs and big malls and all that, to kind of Leah Fairview. So that kind of corner store and those relationships, I grew up with that too. And it's kind of a crisis, I think, across like America. It's not. I don't know how to get that back. I mean, it's a sad thing for all of us because commerce has changed. I don't know if a small grocery like Miss Hall could succeed today. You know what I mean? I'd like to think it could, but I don't know if they could make it work, if they could earn enough money to.
We even had a butcher shop.
Yeah,
Lipschitz
that
was the
would be
butchers.
so
Lipschitz and Sam, they were
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
butchers, but definitely Lipschitz. I mean, you could actually go and say, oh,
And the
can I have this
slaughterhouse. The slaughterhouse.
cut? Yeah, that was down there. Yeah.
Where was that?
That was down on Chapel Street. Like, which is off of State.
Well, see, now Chapel Street, you said Chapel Street no longer exists.
Right.
It was,
Like if you go down
it was
State.
behind the high rise.
Right, when you see the house.
Now the
playground
State,
was,
but
it veered
But it
over
did
and
have a
down.
blockage where you only could go so far,
That was Chapel.
and then you go into State Street, but it was one way.
Yeah.
So what was there a park where the high rise is now?
The high rise, no, that was the,
No.
rag place, the scrap metal, what do you call it? Junkyard. That's what it was the junkyard. There was a junkyard there. There was
The gas station.
gas station right on the corner. There was a Pentecostal church just a little bit up.
It was Forbes.
Yeah, no. They moved there afterwards. It was some other.
I want to know, it sounds like the community is under a lot of stress. There's a lot of distress in the community, and a lot of
It
people
is.
have moved away, and their resources are few. And what would you want to see happen? How would you want to build back the community? Or
I would like to see the job market increase. And also something for our young people.
Yes.
Because there's, like I said before, there's nothing. Absolutely nothing. We don't even have a movie theater in Hudson. And we used to have one. Matter of fact, the summer was spent in the movie theater. It's still, the building is there, but it's not a theater.
We don't have any tennis courts, it was a youth center, ball field.
No,
in Hudson never had a swimming pool, dances there.
No.
Activities.
Same thing that's there now, Oakdale? Yeah, no.
Stickdale, that's what we used to call it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of things starts with our young people also. Just speaking about that, just bringing you some issues, some keeping you abreast of some issues that's going on in the city of Hudson. In our school district, they're making behavior, that was behavior that would be dealt with in the school system. They're criminalizing it now. We got a lot of our young people going to the criminal justice system, juvenile justice system, which right off the bat derails their future. So that's one of the issues. Fortunately, the Social Justice Center created a program, community justice advocacy program, where we have advocates, volunteer advocates, and such that come in and they go to court and they advocate as best they could. They sit there and they just show support, for some of these young people. We go to the school system, and we go to some of these hearings and things like that. Trying to elect, certain people to the school board, so we can shore up that base, getting some of our local community members to run for local government, so we can change things on that level, and we've been fortunate enough to do that so far, and we want to do that even more. But there's a lot of issues that's going on, and one of the biggest issues is, like we just talked about, just getting pushed out further, to the point where, by the time my children get up to be paying rent, they won't be living here anymore, because they won't be able to afford unless they got some exorbitant fee for working. These are some of the issues that's out there, and what we do is we talk about it a lot. We sit there and we have these forums and we have these meetings and things like that, and we talk. And that may be okay for some people, because some people are not being affected by that. They can still go home. They still go into homes. They're not going to apartments. They're going to homes and things like that. So, they're going to jobs that's secure. Might not be a cozy job, but it's a secure job and things like that. Where individuals that look like myself, the black and brown individuals of this community, are suffering. They're suffering and they're suffering and suffering. And while we talk, they continue to suffer. So what we try to do is we try to find some solutions. And it's great to hear the stories. These stories are very significant. They're very important, and we will continue to hear these stories. It would be great for us to come up with some solutions so we can go out there and tackle these very, very pressing issues that's affecting us. Because if it affects the black and brown community, it affects everyone, whether you believe it or not. It affects everyone. It does. Whether you want to recognize it or not, it will affect you. You know what I mean? It starts with a household. The household turns into the community turns into the metropolis. And the metropolis turns into the state. Without a healthy home, everything else is poisoned from within. So we got to start thinking like that, and we got to start finding solutions. How can we tackle these issues, without being divided? So again, just opening the floor up, for anyone to just share your expertise, share your experiences in this brief time that you lived in Hudson, or this long time that you lived in Hudson.
I'd like to hear from the men. You haven't said a word. You're spoken. You don't have an input?
I sense so.
If I could just follow up on something that Cedric was just saying, and Cedric's right, that these conversations are happening. There's a lot of talking about fixing these issues. In my short experience, a lot of that talking is, from what I can tell, is happening within Black and Brown communities here in Hudson, or in projects led by Black and Brown folks in Hudson, as it should be. And I just want to say, one place I haven't heard a lot of that talking going on is in predominantly white spaces in Hudson. And that's a role that those of us who are white can play in Hudson. I want to first and foremost say that talking isn't going to get us there, like Cedric's saying. So we've got to figure out a way to act on the talking. And I've been in a number of predominantly white spaces in Hudson where, people are complaining about the noise on certain streets and the loud music and the people hanging out, and those are conversations to interrupt and to lift up the fact that those are folks that have likely been here generationally, and that even if they haven't have as much a right to anyone else to the city, and the conversation needs to be about how to lift up those voices and those folks and find common ground rather than worrying about how that is affecting our businesses, et cetera, et cetera. And so I just want to invite the white folks in the room to take seriously the stories that we've heard, the history that has been given to us, and to one small way to act on that is to not let those not be silent in those conversations.
I know cameramen are not supposed to open their mouth, but I can't resist. We have worked in the school system for a number of years. We live in Taconic, but we're very involved in Hudson. We love Hudson. It reminds me of where I grew up in Ossining, New York. Same kind of town, on the river, steep hill going down to the water. And we had a minority community here for years. I'm old as dirt. But there was never a problem. Everybody got together. Oh, I don't know. You're going to have to dial way back. Okay. So anyway, we got here about
2000.
2000, yeah. Woo. Anyway, we have worked in the school system. Some facts have to be stated. There's a lot of discrimination in this town. There's a lot of discrimination in the school system. You have 2,000 kids in the system, or plus or minus. 2,000. How many black teachers do you think we have? There may be two. I don't know. I lost. There's one or two.
One.
One. Zero?
He's a guidance counselor.
Okay.
Say it again.
Say that again.
There are 0 black teachers.
There's 0 now?
Say it again.
There's
0.
There's 0 now?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let's put that together. About 3 years ago, we had the poet laureate of children's books come here, and I'm forgetting his name, unfortunately. Great guy, he's since passed on.
Walter Dean Myers.
Walter Dean Myers. Unbelievable. And he started reading books at a very early age, and he wondered why nobody in those books looked like him. So he took that upon himself to become a black author, and he did write many, many books. Same point applies. If you're a minority and you're growing up in the school system and you never see anybody you can relate to, doesn't even look like you, what does that do to your mind? What does that do to your perspective? It's obviously not good.
Being that I've worked in Columbia County and the school system here. What it did for me, the young people in the school taught me stuff that I didn't know about.
Yeah.
And when you can't learn from a child, then you're not shut down, period. But I learned so much from them how to handle us. From them. They have, some of them, once they go home, there's nobody there. So they was called latchkey children? Okay. Then I said children. I have to say this. Please stop calling our children kids. Kids walk on 4s. Children walk on 2s. A kid is a goat, jackass, that's a kid. That's not our children. You didn't give birth to them, did you? Stop calling them kids. Start calling them children. If you start calling them children, they'll act like a child instead of a jackass. And yes, I did say that in school to my classes. I don't call them kids, because kids walk on 4s. You want to be an educator, then you don't call them kids.
But there is something to say about, and it's very important, there is something to say about, learning from individuals that you cannot identify with. Yeah. It's a historical fact. When you go, you go in and you learning, and you're getting, the school system is very significant, and what you learn and things like that. It used to be, right now, the school system being that I was in there, and I went from class to class, different subjects, the whole 9. 90%, and that's a large number, can't read. What? 90% what?
Our students can't read. You know why? Because the teachers are reading to them. And they're not paying any attention. The books are closed and the teacher's talking. And they're just like, they're doing everything else. They're on their phone.
I got 2 children that's in the, not to dispute you, but I got 2 children that's in the school system. That's in the, and I'm not a big fan of the Hudson City School District.
No,
however, just
terrible.
being involved, just being so involved right now, just because I'm a parent in the Hudson City School District, and then talking about just, I can't teach my children everything. You know what I mean?
No, not
and
today.
I have my limitations. And as parents, we all have our limitations. But I'm just saying, it's very significant not having someone that look like you, somebody that I can identify. Like I tell my daughter, it was a great thing that Tiffany, won her seat. And represented this community, where I can look back instead of telling my daughter now that she can do it, I can say, look, she did it, and she looks like you, so you can achieve this also. You see these young black men around the community, and they're doing such great work. I could tell my son, look, imagine if that wasn't there, it would be all talk. Because they can hear it, you can hear it, but to actually see it, and it to be tangible is very, very significant. So, we would love to, we got to support our students, so when they go on, and we can put it in their mind state that college is expected, or and college is not for everybody, but these things are expected, and they can go on and get this education and make it comfortable for them to come back and invest in the city that they left. Come back and teach in our school system, as opposed to feeling that once they got it, Hudson doesn't have anything for me. I have to go somewhere else to make a way.
And that's what they're doing.
So
that's what happened. That's why everything closed on Warren Street, because of that same factor. The children said, no, there's nothing going on here anymore. So that's why all these stores closed down, because the children of the family said, I don't want to stay here. And they left. Not to return. But the guys, y'all still ain't said nothing yet. Y'all got children?
Well, I just was, is this something that we as a community could put pressure on the school district to diversify the teaching staff? Is it?
Yes, we asked the school board management flat out, do you have a minority hiring program? The answer is no.
But can we?
That's disgraceful. That is
So
absolutely disgraceful. And then they said, well, we don't because black people don't really want to come here and teach. That's what they said.
I think something, as we come to our close, I think something is, there's a couple of things I want to say. First and foremost, what we have realized in the 5 years of doing this work around social and racial justice is it's more than just putting somebody in a position, it's supporting them there. You know how it feels to be the only person of color in an institution like that. Oh, I was over at Bard at Simon's Rock, I know what it was, in the height of the Black Lives Matter movement, as the only black male basically living on that campus. You hold that whole space for everything. So it's something to be said about us just pushing people to go into these spaces and when they're not supported.
We do have a black principal in John L. that was in the high school, but because he was black, he was pushed out of the high school. Now he's at John L. and they're trying to get rid of him there.
But anyway, I'm saying,
okay.
The second piece that I wanted to say is the barbershop talk and what we do here is it's about bridging the gap of social distance. The difference that I see in Hudson than other communities, and I travel all over, is the fact that although gentrification is occurring, all it means is that people are just being stuck here, like in this area. So, you know, we're not going anywhere. You know, they might be on a couch, they might be at a motel, but they're not leaving. And it's a large footprint. It's like the whole waterfront and over here. That's where, majority of the people of color are. So it's about not only just hearing stories about what Hudson was like, coming up with solutions and getting to know people in a different type of way. I was at the DRI meeting, whatever that is. They're trying to get $2 million. I just went to the meeting. I don't really know what it is. I just felt, I'm just like, good luck, But I was at the meeting, so I went there and I was, I believe in people power. And if you're, the point that I made is like, oh, they want to put some money into a building. Well, if your leadership has never agreed on it, what makes you think they're going to agree on it, in the future? That has to come from the people. So if we're true about, if we want to be sincere about like bringing people together, it has to come from us and demanding of leadership and government and different civic organizations, etc., to do what they said they're going to do. We want to work for the betterment of Hudson. Well, that does include some income-based housing with a pilot. Yeah, it does. And it includes some affordable housing, which is, I consider that workforce housing, people who have, living wage type jobs. And it needs to be all types of ranges of housing. And we have to agree with that. We have to be all right with that. If we're all right giving, putting $2.8 million into Duns or Falls, whatever the hell it is down there, we should be all right with the pilot for whoever, Johnny May, coming in and saying, I want to do 25 units of income-based housing, but I need a pilot. And we should be all right with that.
This house on the corner was supposed to have been that.
This one right here? This building?
Yeah.
It is.
No, across the street.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not.
I know it's not. It was supposed to be.
And speaking of housing, and I'm running into this issue as I stated, I spent some time in prison. And now in a sense, and not even in a sense, it's happening. I'm a felon. No one wants to rent to a felon. No one wants to hire a felon. No one wants to be bothered with a felon. And my thing is this: what am I supposed to do? Just because I went to prison doesn't mean I don't want to be successful in society. So now, because I've done time, that means that I don't have knowledge. I can't get an apartment. I'm a single mom with 2 children. I'm not supposed to come home and strive to do better and want better. So therefore, because I did time, I'm a bad person, and my struggle is even harder. You know what I mean? And here, housing, they won't rent to a felon. The minute criminal background check, they're not going to rent to me. And because I made poor choices, and I don't blame anybody for that, but at the same time, if I'm trying to be successful in society, why are the doors being closed on me? You're a landlord. I have a question for you. As a landlord,
I'm a commercial landlord. I don't rent to.
Oh, you're not. You don't.
Residential.
Oh, you don't rent. And that's sad though. I can call a landlord. You pay for the background check. They check my background. I'm disqualified because I'm a felon. Never mind all the good jobs I've had or the education I do have, or what I'm trying to do as re-enter in society, that doesn't count. You know what I mean? So I have issues with that.
Is that indefinite, or does that evaporate after a certain amount of time?
It's indefinite. It's indefinite. It doesn't evaporate. And even though I am a felon, you can still hire me. I'm just as smart as anybody else. But that's not what they're looking at. They're not looking at the individual Tara, the Tara that's a single mom that just came home and striving to do better. They're looking at the felon. Stamp, she's a felon. We don't want to be bothered by her. We don't care what she has up here or here, or what she's trying to do for herself and our children. We don't care about that. You know, and it's sad. And also as far as the children in the community, I have a daughter that's 16 now, Nandi, as I stated. Joni has been nothing, an angel sent from heaven. During my incarceration, Joni was there for my daughter. She never judged me. That's one pillar in this community I can say besides. We grew up together. But as far as being a different color, Joni never looked at my color, nor my crime. I don't have a child's crime or anything. I'm considered a violent felon. So I'm a category 1. She never looked at any of that. But I run into it. And it's unfair because you're stagnating me. Whereas I can be doing better for me and my children, getting a job. Whereas I can pay rent and pay bills for me and my children after we lay on DSS until somebody decides to say, well, Tara, we're going to give you that chance that we believe you deserve. And, you know, and it's sad, but that's what's going on. You know, I walk around and smile, but I go through a lot. But I'm still standing, but it doesn't make it any better. You know what I mean? So as far as housing and stuff, it's sad. You're a felon, you're black, you're a minority, you don't have money, you might get partial DSS and work. You want a person fully working, but we can't all do that right now. I came home, I don't have a job right now. You know what I mean? I have a good family. And like Aunt Tony, she's not my aunt, but I grew up with Aunt Tony. There's a lot of people in the community I can go to if I need something. But still, I want me. God bless the child that has their own.
That's right.
That's the way I was brought up too.
So, you know, so apartments and things of that nature, I just ask that everybody really, you can sit right now and look at me as a felon, but get to know me because I want you to understand that the struggles as a single parent that I go through because I'm a felon. But like I said, I don't want a pity party. That's not what I'm asking for. All I ask for is a chance to be successful in society. You know, an apartment and all these things, they all have to fall together. But like I said, I'm a felon. Nobody wants to listen to me. They just see she's a felon. You know, so, yeah.
I'm going to take 2 more people, and then we're going to close out and get you guys home. I know, you know, you had a long day. We got one gentleman right here, and I got you 2, so we got 3 people. Right.
Last night I was at a meeting with local business owners, and anecdotally, people were talking about how actually they find, from the business owner's perspective, they find it hard to find people who want to work for them. So I think and I was just thinking about this today before coming to this. I mean, I didn't even know I was coming to this, but that there should be some system or some group that, you know, takes people who are looking for jobs, and then there's all the business owners who are saying they're having trouble finding people who want the jobs that they do have, and why are those not connecting? And how do we build that connection?
I can go get a busload. I can go get a busload right now. That's willing to work. That's willing to work.
But somehow that's not happening. That's what I'm saying.
No, what it is you got to look at who was there at that meeting.
Yeah.
People who own these businesses on Martin Street.
All of them. Bring it to the people. Yes. Bring it to the people.
Where do they show up? That's what I'm saying. There needs to be some
They can set up a meeting in the community room of Bliss Towers, which is open to the public.
Well, I think there needs to be. I think there needs to be some place where groups who are looking for jobs.
Yeah, that's a place right there. That's a perfect place.
No, I think we need to create. But you need to have a format. It needs to be a format.
A meeting needs to exist,
right?
Where these folks could come. I would say to a collaboration between Surge and SVK, create a list. And come through and disseminate it that way.
Absolutely.
That's what needs to happen.
Can we can't believe that there's nobody there. We can never have that mind state. That's that old mind state. That,
Yeah, but it's twofold. You got to look at both sides. It's like we don't feel like Warren Street is ours. Let's not forget that. Like it's just sort of like it's off limits to us. So sort of. So it's not like so. As time goes on, the rationalization is like they don't want us here. We can't get jobs there, but we don't necessarily know if people is walking in.
Right. Right.
So we need to create that medium.
I mentioned we've been working in the school system as volunteers for over 5 years. We got an email from Michelle Obama 5 years ago before Barack Obama's inauguration, saying, wanted her to roll up your sleeves and do something. We ran to the high school, who was Spicer was the principal then. What can we do? We did a video club. We did it for 5 years. And now we do Hudson Reads. And also we've done this for 7 years. Hudson is a summer festival for parents and kids. There is so much of what everyone was saying. There's a program in the high school called Yes. They had graduation yesterday.
Yesterday. 16 students.
Yeah.
And
so
doing,
what they do is they
doing
do,
just what you want to do.
They do
but it's only 16.
They do internships for the whole school year. And they get a lot of credit for it. And like one boy did Red Dot, now he's been hired. A
girl.
Oh, please. A girl. I don't want to sit. I just want to. And they've been hired. The other one did stair galleries. He's been hired. The success stories, and we're going to give you each a book. But there's so much to do in Hudson. And the other thing is, minority families don't seem to come out like for school board meetings or events that are held in the school, and they should. And I think I can't blame the school. They encourage the parents to come, but they don't want to come. And that's what you can do.
Maybe they can't come because they're working or they can't
well,
get
that's
there
another story. That's another story. But the YES program provides babysitters.
It's another thing. Yeah.
They're being ignored when they do come.
And then, of course, we have Tyrone Hedgepeth, who is the head of the youth center. Well, what a magnificent, it's soccer, it's basketball, award-winning kids come out of it. Winston Lee, I don't know, he's a track star, have you heard of him? Yeah. He had got a 4-year scholarship to Syracuse, he's about to graduate. He's like number 4 in the country for the, what is it?
Right, field.
Track and field.
Yeah, now Hudson High School has not had a proper track. They have great track kids. So they're building a wonderful track right behind the high school now. Now what you have to do, once it's finished, and of course there's many minority kids who run a lot, and go to the meets, get involved in there, because it's fun, and there's a lot of great things happening in Hudson. And the school system has improved so much under Maria Suttmeyer, that's unbelievable. You walk into the schools, they're different places. It's a joy.
The state of our youth in the city of Hudson is atrocious. It's atrocious, and that's a fact. And I don't want to poison anybody, but Maria Suttmeyer. We talk about Maria Suttmeyer, somebody that we put in that position, and we got something called the School to Prison Pipeline. I'm there every day. I'm directly working every day. To stop this. We have individuals that's directly coming from the word of Maria Suttmeyer, that these individuals for minor offenses are getting put out of the Hudson City School District long term, kicked out for offenses that's restorative. That's a restorative process, easily a restorative process. They're getting kicked out of the school long term. And not, not just to go back and forth with it. I'm just talking about just looking at the impact from down below. And seeing these individuals where their parents are in crisis. These individuals, I can know firsthand. I've been in the criminal justice system. I've been in prison. And I've seen these young kids come in. Young kids that miss their mark only because the school system said they missed their mark. You know what I mean? Where they could be put right back on track very easily. But now they're in the criminal justice system and they're getting tore apart. These individuals, like, their lives are in jeopardy once they into that. I'm talking about on so we gotta really think about that when we elevate these individuals and say they're doing these tremendous jobs and things like that, directly impacting this community by taking individuals out of the school system and putting them into the criminal justice system, and then all you guys are taking your resources, right, and paying for these individuals that should be home. They should be home and they should be contributing to this society. So we need to think about that right there.
I want to challenge you. The school board has meetings once a month. There's a 5-member school board. Maria, of course, is chief. And Quentin, we've known Quentin, you know, for a long time. How many? No, I'm just going to say that if you go, like, say you have this problem with what you're talking about, get a group of us. We'll go to the school board meeting, we'll do a little paper, and we'll get up and talk about it. And you have to talk. You know, you can't just sit just here and complain about it. You've got to get out there, talk to the people who are the leaders in the community. And, you know, that's what we've always done.
Well,
right, Quentin, am I right?
Right on.
Have we done it?
Just one story.
Tiffany, have we done it?
Absolutely. Just one story. There was a teacher who happened to be black, Barbara, and I can't remember.
Beverly Hale.
Beverly Hale. They were going to turn down her request for tenure. And it was going to be a done deal. We got a huge group of people together, and they came. The board came in. They saw the crowd, and they said, "Oh, excuse us, we have to go into executive meeting." They went out. They came back and said, "Oh, by the way, she's got her tenure." That was true. That happened. It was simply by the force of 100 people in the room where they only had 3 before. It changed it. You can change.
That's what you call people power.
People power.
I was there, I participated in that.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just tremendous. I mean, at the start of our organization, we did the same thing with PINs for persons in need of supervision. When that was going along with the school, with the prison to pipeline with the school. And, you know, the same way with the people power, we fought and we changed those. And the statistics of that and all the numbers have dropped. There's no more pen supervision that they're using in the school, you know, but there's not saying that they're using a different way. You know, we just have to all, as the community, stay on top of that so we can support our children in the right fashion to make sure that they feel comfortable and they feel happy while they are getting their education. But it is extremely important, whether it's in the school board, city hall, you know, we can come to these type of group meetings and plan out. When we talk, that's when the solution comes. We can't just have a conversation. We have to plan out. When is the next school board meeting? When is the next city hall meeting that we want to bring up these topics? Because, you know, I'm an elected official, yes, but I'm just one. So you have to convince everyone on that council that this is what the people want so they can make those right decisions. Because when nobody shows up, then you read it in the paper and say, what happened? Why is this happening? Because no one came. No one spoke up. And that's the problem. But we all have muscles, right? It's called people power. If we show up, we speak up. And even if they do go in an executive session, you know, they depend on that to save base. Yes, they're having a private discussion, but they can go on and on and on until everyone has left the room. And then they can come out of executive session and make their own decision. You know, we have to stay there. It may be 2 hours, because they do that. Mm-hmm. They do that. We have to sit there for 2 hours. Call somebody, bring you a snack, but stay there. Yeah. And show them, we're here, we're not leaving because this is what we want. Right? You say you pay taxes, you pay sale taxes, right? We pay taxes when we buy stuff from the store. We pay property taxes. This is what we want, right? For our community, for our children.
You can't say and judge people on the corner, our young people, and say, look at them, they have nothing to do. We're not in those rooms fighting for them. We're just having conversations about them. We have to go there. So what if you don't have children, right? But you see them, they're part of our community. We want them all to succeed. So that's what we have to do. So out of this meeting, we can talk about the uniqueness of Hudson, because a lot of us are not born and raised from Hudson, but we all came here and we all connect some way, somehow. And we are a small community. So we can hear the history about the segregation, about the differences of the community, and somehow, some way, some parts of it still exist. But what are we going to do to change it? We have to leave this room and say, I don't know you, but I need your number, because when this meeting comes, I'm going to call you so we can get together. You know, can't just rely everything on social media, because sometimes it cuts off and then we're lost, right? We can't be lost. We have to stay on that path. So, you know, continuing the conversation, that's what I would like to see all of you come out of it. I want to see all of you in the school board meetings, at City Hall, at HCDPA, and talk about where our community needs and where these people vote to make those changes.
And you know, we're gonna close it out with that. I just want to say, you know,
It was directly related to what he said, and it was off of what she was talking about. With this space, what if you had a networking event, basically, where people in her position and people that are looking for people to work, you coffee and cookies, and you just come here and you get together and you meet and you talk and you see if it's a good fit.
Yeah.
If someone wants jobs and somebody wants to hire people, and that's the purpose of the get-together, and a lot of people would walk out very happy.
That's what we're going to do, Shel. We're going to exchange numbers and make sure that the drive here doesn't end here. We're still going.
And Barbershop Talks is not a one-time, you know, this is not tonight. Barbershop Talks, we're going to keep this going.
I would like to see, because I think there's a great opportunity. I know a lot of outsiders that come into Hudson, they bring different backgrounds and ideas, and I think there can be a coming together of sort of a mentorship, and I think mentorship can happen for adults, for children, for, you know, I mean, I see it as a two-way street every time. We got to be mentors of kids through Promise Neighborhood a few years ago, my husband and I, and we learned so much for the kids. I don't know if they learned anything from us, but they were great. I got so much out of being with them. So I would love to see, like, you know, someone in your situation, is your name Tara?
Yes.
Yeah, Tara, like, you might need a buddy of somebody who's from a different background, who has had different experiences, and you're going to teach them about your experiences, and they're going to teach you about their experiences, and maybe they have some, I don't know, something happens, you know what I mean? Like, instead of us all staying in our own communities where we've always been, there's a time to crisscross and get to know people that we never knew before.
Whatever is going to help me make, you know, be productive in society, whatever, you know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
but I'm just saying the kind of mentorship, because even if you do get a job in a Warren Street business, if there's not somebody supporting you while you're learning to have that job so that you succeed in it, you might need yet another person, not just the boss, but a person checking in. What are the challenges you're having with this job? What's going on? Are you getting good instruction? Do you understand what you're supposed to be doing? Like, there's a lot of people that have knowledge that can help you be successful.
We're talking about professional mentors, but I also think we need to really center authority with longtime residents who are our mentors in terms of teaching history of Hudson. And whether it's children or longtime residents, like, yes, you're seeking a job, but you have all this history that you know in terms of Hudson. And I know I need to learn that. I've been here 9 years and I still don't know so much. And I've heard, I think, 200 oral histories of longtime residents, and I still don't know, you know, as much as I want to know. So I think hearing your experiences tonight, I want to keep learning the history. And we're talking about mentorship in terms of professionalization, but I think longtime residents are our mentors too, and that we need to really center authority. But I think that authority is something that's not been acknowledged by newcomers, of just this specialized knowledge. And so.
All right. And just one of the things, leaving out of here, you know, just in community engagement, you know, one of the ways to engage that I learned is not to ask for anything. you know, not to ask for anything sometimes, you know, just recognize, you know, the work that the individuals that you're going to talk to, recognizing the work that they did. And I want to appreciate everybody for coming out and giving us something, you know. But one thing I do want to ask you is for you to look inside yourself and see what you can do to change this city to be an equitable city, you know, to be a better city for our young people and in turn for us. So I want to thank you guys for coming out, and I hope to see you in the community, but especially on June 22nd also, to hear one of our, you know, another beloved elder come out and share her experience and her story and things like that, and hopefully hear your voices again. And bring some neighbors with you.
Thanks,